And the recording is starting. Woo! Hello, everybody. I'm Rick from the Portland City Gym. Here with a cup of water. This is like my second time recording this. Because I was my mouth felt severely dehydrated. So yeah. So I got a cup of water and I'm ready to record. This is my rough draft for Eternatus VMAX. Post rotation, of course, because I mean, let's face it, do they have any real time before post rotation? So, Eternatus VMAX, of course, probably one of the most hyped up cards from the set. I don't know how good it's gonna be, but I think it's gonna be good. That's kind of a given. So yeah. So I guess we're just gonna dive straight into the list. Really nothing, no other exposition to get done. 4-4 line of Eternatus V and VMAX. I feel like 4-4 line would be really good in a deck like this, just because you get to use a more dark type Pokemon to fill up your bench in case you need to. And we do play Black Market Prism Star, so you are able to use more VMAXs in a game than you would usually. Usually it's like a 3-3 line, but since there's 3 prizes, but we go down to 2, so it's a 4-4 line. So that's that. For those who don't know what Eternatus VMAX does, it basically has an ability where you can have up to 8 benched dark Pokemon as long as they're all dark types. So you'll see we play all dark types in this deck. So yeah, and its attack for a dark and a colorless energy. It does 30 damage for each of your dark type Pokemon in play. So it does 270 damage, which you may think, oh, well, I mean, that's not even one-shotting the not-so-relevant ADP. Okay, and you can one-shot Pikarom with having only 7 benched Pokemon. So I just really wanted to display the sheer might and terror of this deck. 4 copies of Crobat V. Crobat V is definitely what makes this deck capable of functioning. We cannot use Dedenne, of course, or Jirachi because they're not dark types. I don't know why I said that so weirdly. They're not dark types. So, Crobat V being a dark type and having the amazing ability to where, basically once during your turn, you can place it on your bench, and you can draw cards until you have 6 in your hand. That's really good. Resembles Shaman EX quite a lot, except you can only use it once per turn. And then Galarian Zigzagoon, we play 4 of them. Mostly it's because there aren't that many, like, widespread dark types you can use. I guess you could tech, like, some other things. I've seen a few lists that played a Weavile GX to get it powered up, like, as soon as possible. That's an idea. However, I don't know how big of a fan I am of it. I just like the Galarian Zigzagoon build more. It's more straightforward. It can help you with some good math, include with scoop up nets. So, can definitely help you hit numbers that you previously weren't able to. For example, 270, but with 3 scoop up nets and 4 Zigzagoons, you can hit 340. But I guess more relevantly, you can do 4 Zigzagoons and a net, which is very possible, or 3 Zigzagoons and 2 nets, which is probably a little more probable. So you can do that, and you can hit 320 damage on any VMAXs you might be going up against. So I really like Scoop Up Net in here with Galarian Zigzagoons, maybe a 4th Scoop Up Net actually, but I'm not sure. So yeah, that's 16 Pokemon. Now, excuse me, I'll take a sip of water for my health. Sorry, you don't understand how dehydrated I feel. Alright, so next up is 4 copies of Professor's Research, just standard, discard your hand and draw 7 cards. We do play a bit of a surplus of dark Pokemon. We have a total of 12 different dark Pokemon we can discard, or up to 12 Pokemon we can play on the bench. So, being able to discard them really isn't that bad, and if it was really an issue, you could just bench them first and then discard them later. If it's a Crobat, I guess that wouldn't really work, but Galarian Zigzagoon it does. So, yeah. So Professor Research isn't really a big deal in this deck. 3 Marnie, because Marnie is still really good. 4 Pierce, because we play a very minuscule amount of items, but those items are really, really important to the deck's function. And Dark Energy, we also don't play like a whole ton of that, so being able to use Pierce to get them is really useful. 3 copies of Boss's Orders. I feel like 3 Boss's Orders is kind of like the main count that I use in my decks. 2 if I don't really need it. 1 if it's not really an attacking deck. But 3 in a standard deck like this is going to be my go-to. I feel like being able to Boss's Orders up a Dedenne is super duper important, especially in a format that has Gusting but no VS Seekers is not amazing, so being able to have 3 copies of Boss's Orders is really good. Oh, sorry about the background noise. Then we play 3 copies of Mallow. I kind of went with a more hit-and-run tactic kind of deck. Eternatus does have a bulky 340 HP. That's right. It has good attack, good ability, and has 340 HP. So it's very probable that it's not going to get one shot. And moving into the 2-shot format that we are, I feel like Eternatus can be really good, especially with Mallow being able to heal off potentially most of the damage you took that turn, and just switching into a fresh new Eternatus is really, really strong. At the cost of discarding 2 cards, but that isn't really that bad. So next up is items. It's pretty simple. 4 Quick Ball, 4 Great Ball, 3 Scoop Up Net, 3 Switch. Bam, that's it. Bam. Standard Pokemon search to use for Zigzagoons, and just general use. Yep, and that's it. We do play 4 stadiums, actually. We play 3 copies of Power Plant. We do not play any EXs or GXs in this deck. And being able to get this card out, if you go first, getting that card out can be game-changing. If your opponent doesn't have a counter stadium, they're not using Dedenne. That's probably one of the biggest ones. And any other GX, pretty much GX, ability is very, very strong. And it doesn't affect us in the slightest, because we don't play any EXs or GXs. Even though all of our Pokemon have abilities. Or most of our Pokemon have all abilities. Yeah, it doesn't get affected, and it's some nice turn 1 stall, so we play it. So it has to be Power Plant and 1 copy of Black Market, just to reduce our prize trade and make it a little bit more manageable from a 2 knockout 3 to a 3 knockout 6. I don't know. I don't know what I was saying. Basically, it really messes up the math. Being able to take down 3 Eternatus VMAXs, which already has 340 HP, with the Mallow is going to be extremely difficult, and Black Market is going to make it that much more difficult. So yeah. So next up is the Dark Energy count, and we play 5 copies of Basic Dark, 2 copies of Hidden Energy, and 2 copies of Weakness Guard Energy. Now, because fighting is slowly on the rise of becoming more and more popular again. Things like Sandaconda, Colossal, which is seeing a bit of play, and people are going to start to be playing more. Sorry, so people are going to start to be playing more and more Pikarom counters, and kind of vice versa. People are going to be trying to counter us, and Weakness Guard Energy is really good for that, because even with Weakness, they need to hit 170 on us, and that isn't extremely probable moving into the format that we are. But Weakness Guard Energy is kind of like that just in case. Again, it is a dark and a colorless, so if you were to get a Dark Energy and a Weakness Guard Energy, you would still technically be fulfilling the requirements of the attack. So, Weakness Guard Energy isn't always necessary, but it's always good as a just in case. Basically, it's just better to have it than to not have it. So, yep. That is the list, guys, that I am rocking with. I feel like that once tournaments start opening up, I'm going to be buying this deck. I really like Eternatus moving forward. I feel like being able to use Galarian Zigzagoons to kind of mess with the math a little bit, it really can make a world of a difference. Especially with all those new VMAXs going forward, being able to hit 320 damage so easily and effortlessly with things like Black Market and Malomwana. Eternatus has a lot going for it at the moment, and yeah, so that is my Eternatus VMAX rough list post-rotation. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, all that stuff that YouTubers are supposed to say. And I am River from the Portland City Gym, signing out. And yes, I know I'm still bringing it up. Maybe I'll edit it out. I don't feel like it.